Hey you guys, this is Stacia and we're gonna take a look at my round one from the Kings Island Open. This turned out to be a little bit of a rough tournament for me, but um, you know, lots to learn from the games. Let's have a look at this first game, which is actually the longest game that I've ever played over the board. It was over 5.5 hours on time, I mean. But I think I've had games over 100 moves before, so it didn't quite uh, beat the number of moves. But at any rate, so it'll still look okay. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I'll just get that a little bigger. Okay. Let's get started. So my opponent was over 1900, and so of course those are the opponents I want to play, higher rated than me. He went d4, and I went d5, knight f3, knight to f6, and now he played c3. So not exactly the most ambitious move ever, but it's not without its merits. It's a solid move protecting d4. Also, I'm not sure if my opponent is going to play a London system or not, and I'm not sure if they're going to play e3, a Colle system. So here I played c5. Now, one thing I like about slow chess is, I mean, a lot of times I would play bishop f5 without thinking here, like in a blitz game, for example. But here, I mean, there would be this move, queen b3. Now, I've analyzed this since. It is possible to play like a pawn sacrifice with knight bd7 and have them come in. We could just play e6. It's possible to play like this. In fact, I played like this in a Parma game once, but that was probably like 2 years ago or more. But I think in rapid games, I would probably play that way. In classical games, I don't think I necessarily want to do that. So I just went c5 to avoid that. My opponent went e3. But then I have to tell you, like, even on c5, I was like, well, like, what happens if they take? Like, and I go e6 and they go b5, like, holding on to the pawn. I wasn't exactly sure what's going on because I would probably go a5. Now, if they just go a3, I can probably take because that pawn's pinned, so I'm not worried about that one. And if they take back this way, I can probably just go b6 now and undermine the front of the pawn chain. And like if they were to take, we could even take here with check. So this has to be good. Now check with the engine. Okay, slightly better for black, it says. Wow, just slightly better? It gives like knight bd2. And okay, I'd probably go queen b6. What's wrong with queen b6? Just says rook b1. Ah, interesting. That's going to force me to take. And now my queen, I lost a tempo. So now I have to move my queen. And the computer gives like queen a7. Okay, that's weird. But okay, we're just getting our queen out of danger. Okay, interesting. Engine back off. So I think, but after here, e6, b5, a5, they could also maybe just play e3 here, take, let's say take, then b6, bishop b5, check. Yeah, I think I analyzed this later, and it actually, all of this works out. It's like black is totally fine. Like if they want to take, that's fine. We can even take with this knight, because after here, we can just go back to b8. We have this, we have queen d6, we have queen c7. We're going to be able to pick up the pawn. In the meantime, we have check. I mean, that's actually important because we don't want them to play. Well, yeah, what happens if they do this, actually? I'm curious. If they do this, That looks kind of annoying to me. I mean, is it possible we have like rook a5? I'm going to ask the computer just so we can move on. Wow, it actually says white's winning. Okay. Yeah, b5 is winning. Holy crap. Okay, good thing I'm looking at this. Oh, we have to take the pawn first. Yeah, you can't do this, allowing this move. Like, this really is winning for white. Just kind of what I was thinking. So I played this a move too early. We have to take this with check first. Notice that when they moved, it opened up the diagonal. So that was what I missed when I was trying to go quickly. Okay, anyway. Thought I would share that with you guys because it just shows how complicated chess is. I feel like sometimes my students don't understand just how like complex chess is and how precise you could be. So like my players that are stronger and sort of like breaking 1000 right around now, one of them did, by the way. So they are, well, two, I guess, technically. I just want them to understand the nuances of chess and why it's such a beautiful and complex game. But let's go ahead and move on. So after e3, I played e6. Okay, engine's off. Yeah, and once again, I would normally play bishop f5. This is called like the anti-Colle or something when you play this way. But now I wasn't really afraid of queen b3. Now I was afraid of like pressure on my c6 knight. Like for example, let's say they just make a normal move like maybe here. And I go knight c6, which would be normal. Then I was wondering if they could play like this. Or they could even wait. They could wait again. Let's say they go, what would be a good move for them? I don't know, actually. There's no good waiting moves necessarily. Okay, I'll just go ahead and do this. And then I can't really go like e6 because I feel like I might get crushed here. It might not be true. Like I could probably go rook c8, but then there's queen a4. Yeah, it's just like there's all this pressure and I locked my bishop away from the d7 square. So I actually wasn't sure about all this. I'll see what the engine says. I mean, it says black's fine. We just go a6 here. I mean, okay. I would have to take with a pawn. They win this pawn. So this is a pawn sacrifice, actually. And now that the engine's thinking about it, it's giving white an edge. So I think I was correct not to go into this. It's sort of unnecessary to calculate all that just to play bishop f5. Let me put it that way. So I thought e6 is probably the best move, and it is the best move. Okay, but now we're going to get a position that I'm not so familiar with because I don't ever play like this. I always try to get my bishop outside the chain. I don't play these structures very often where I play e6 and have to figure out what to do with my bishop. Okay, but there's lots of ideas. But okay, let's continue. I just played e6 because I'm like, well, it's the best move, you know, as far as I could tell. Okay, so knight c6. He went knight bd2. And now I went bishop d6. Now, I analyzed this with my one of my coaches. His name is Livio from where? Something with an M. Okay, anyway, he told me that maybe my bishop doesn't belong on d6 in these lines. And he might be right. But I do see it's the top book move. But bishop e7 scores better, so maybe he really knows what he's talking about. Okay, so anyway, I did play this, though, because I'm like, well, it's slow chess, and I'm like, why would I not put my bishop on the most active square that I can, you know? Like, with the bishop on d6, I might have ideas later, like bishop c7, queen d6, and create the battery and stuff. So I went ahead and did this. My opponent castled. So I should probably castle too. And now e4. So every Colle player ever wants to play e4. And I thought this is fine. I could just take. And I thought, I'll just trade everything. And that's what I usually do in my blitz games. However, when it's slow chess and you're calculating, I got a little bit nervous here because I started to realize something. First of all, I need to figure out what to do with my bishop, and my main plan that I was wanting to go for was to play e5. I was thinking about playing e5. So I thought maybe rook e8 and like e5, and then my bishop will be free. But there's other ways to free the bishop too. But I thought maybe after takes and takes, like if I'm not careful, there might be Greek gift sacrifices. Like let's say I just play a little bit lazy like this. Like, oh, don't wreck my pawn structure. Oh my gosh. I think I do have to worry a little bit about this idea, the Greek gift sacrifice, because you basically need to be able to protect h7, and I don't see a way to do that here, so I think I'm lost. So let's have a look. Yeah, I'm lost. Okay, so that calculation was correct. The one I didn't really know, though, and bishop d7 is not good, by the way. I really doubt it's good. But there's also, oops, sorry, wrong bishop. There's always this king g6 way of dealing with the Greek gift. It's actually like, it looks totally ridiculous, and no doubt that it's a sharp move. Because I mean, yeah, our king's on g6. But this is often the best defense and sometimes the only defense to the Greek gift. I wasn't sure if this is okay or not. Like, okay, like if queen g4, for example, I think we have f5 here. And then I thought, okay, they can't go here. If they go here, we have rook h8. I did calculate this kind of stuff a little bit, but then I was kind of like, well, why am I calculating all this? Like, I should just not allow it. And that's not the right way to play chess. So I don't think I necessarily did this next part correctly, but okay. I played h6, which stops the Greek gift sacrifice, but it kind of opens up ideas about double bishop sacrifice. I don't know. I don't think this is a good move. So what I really should have done, let's think about this for a second. What should I do to improve my position? Like, I'd love to play e5. I think originally I wanted to play e5 here, but I mean, e5 doesn't work because they can just take the knight, which is protecting the pawn. And when I take back, they just win my pawn. So, yeah, e5 is totally wrong. So what should I do here? You know, probably I just need to play bishop e7. Hate to say it. But bishop e7 means I shouldn't have played bishop d6 earlier. But it does protect that g5 square, so that does stop the Greek gift sacrifice stuff. So, yeah, I wonder if I would have had a better game if I had just put my bishop on e7 to begin with. But now let's see what the engine would do, because I'm sure the engine's like fine with this. I didn't have to take right away either. They took here. Okay, engine does think knight takes e4 is the way to go. And then it wants c takes d4. Oh, wow, this is what my coach said as well. Yeah, he said take because it's going to create an isolated pawn. Is that even true, though? Like, why couldn't they take with a knight? Can they take with a knight? Or is that just... Actually, they can't because we have this check. Okay, so bishop d6 is coming in handy. If you don't see what I mean, I'm talking about this, this. They cannot take with the queen because check. Actually, what am I talking about? That's protected. So never mind. They could take with the queen, but then we just go here with tempo. G3, computer gives. And then we get our E5 move. Yeah, we get our E5 move with tempo. Queen D5, but now the bishop can come out. So I feel like this is, wow, look at them. They're stopping us from developing. That's kind of mean. So actually here, computer wants rook b8 to protect the pawn. Okay, whatever, computer. So apparently I could play that way. So after knight takes, it actually wants this. Let's say that white does take with a pawn and just accepts their isolated pawn. This looks like a fairly normal IQP position because the bishop's bad and white has I'm sorry, I need some water. I feel like my allergies are kicking up or something. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I mean, it just feels like a normal IQP position. There's no knight on f6, so the attack on the king side is real. But at the same time, we have ideas to blockade or even go knight d7, knight g6, bishop e7, and we can defend the king side. And we can blockade the pawn, hopefully, and it'll be a strategic battle. So that's what I should have done in this part of the game. Instead, I played h6, which, you know, h6 is also just a weakening move in general. So I knew when I played it, it wasn't good. And I really need to, I just couldn't find a better move. I thought I was forced to do this. And that is not true at all. So, yeah. Okay, anyway. My opponent then took on c5. I was kind of happy to see this because I thought this variation, trying to wreck my pawns, which is what I think he's doing, is not as scary as the pressure on the king side at all. Yeah, so I thought he was going to take my knight. That's what I thought. But two bishops, like, at least makes up for the isolated c pawn, if not more. It's the computer now. Yeah, it thinks white has a slight edge, and that's probably because I played h6. Otherwise, I mean, we're fine here. That's a very, very tiny edge. So, okay. Yeah, I would have been more than happy with that. Instead, he went here, developing, which makes a lot of sense. And my dark squares are a little bit tender since I already moved the bishop away. And so I went queen f6, and he infiltrated with this move, bishop to c7. Yeah, this is sort of a newish idea for me, but I've seen it in 2 tournament games now. So clearly it's a real idea to infiltrate with the bishop like this. I guess he's saying that if I go bishop e6, he could take. And after I take, there's queen b3. This is what my coach was telling me. He said, what are you going to do now? Like, how do you protect your b-pawn? Because we can't even do this because they just attack us again. So, yeah, I agree that white's better. Let's see what the engine says. Yeah, white is +1. Makes sense. So that's part of the point of this move, I think. So he thought I should just go queen e7 and chase the bishop out. So I'll follow the computer on this just to see. So if queen e7, yeah, I was afraid of bishop g3. I thought, am I helping him, like, put his bishop on a good square? Because that's not really what I want. But I could play rook d8 here. Tempo on the queen. Let's say the queen goes... I thought queen e2. Computer goes queen b3. Let's do queen b3, I guess. Yeah, I guess this is a game, but white has an edge here because my bishop's still terrible. So that's the problem. So I should just go e5, computer says. Which is probably what I would have done. But then once again, can't they just take the knight? Like, what if they just take? Because that's protecting the pawn. Oops. So if they take, knight takes. Yeah, I don't know. I like white here. Yeah, this doesn't look comfortable at all. Okay, anyway. Sorry I'm deep diving on this game, but let me know in the comments if you actually like it when I do this or not. But I think for me, personally, it's very important that I understand what's going on in position. So deep dive, you know, like going into variations, understanding what is actually happening on the board, I think is the best for my chess. Also, I need to do simple tactics fast. But I broke a new high blitz rating, by the way. I think because of all the puzzle storm I've been doing. So this is what happened in the game. Now my coach was like, rookie 8, what is that? So apparently I came up with the wrong plan here. But I wanted to push e5. So that was the point. I'm like, look, I gotta get this bishop out. Yeah, my coach didn't like that at all. He said, no, no, no. And what did he say? I'm trying to remember now. He said on rookie 8. Yeah, he thought the rook should come to d8. That's why he liked queen e7, chasing the bishop out and all that. He's totally right, I'm sure. But, okay, I have a plan. It's not the best one, but at least I have a plan. Yeah, and then my opponent played b4, which... Okay, I mean, if he's trying to force my bishop to b6, then I think it's different now because queen b3 will not attack my double pawn. It's blocked, right? And he just weakened that too. Yeah, I don't believe this at all. And I also had the option of bishop f8. I didn't play this in the game because I thought he might go b5. I thought this might be his idea. Let's see what the engine says. Yeah, white's better after b5. I thought so too. So I went bishop b6 because now, this is different now. So he did take, and I was happy to see this. I mean, I'm not really afraid to have double pawns because I've been playing with the initiative for like 2 or 3 years now. And just seeing my rook open alone made me feel good about this position, like a little bit better. And after queen b3, I was like, yeah, I mean, what is that? Like, I could just play e5. So I played e5. Okay, so I felt like I feel like my opponent maybe misplayed a little bit at this point, which he did. Because now I'm ready to get my bishop out. So he played here. So I just simply went bishop e6. You know, it would be possible also to go e4 here. e4 might be interesting. Like e4, knight d2, maybe bishop f5. Yeah, this seems kind of interesting. But I did not do that. I just simply went here. So this is inviting trades, but I have to tell you, like, sometimes your mindset changes in slow chess because, like, after struggling with what to do with my bishop for like over an hour, you know, I was more than happy to just trade, you know? And like, it's funny, but if I had the same position in like a blitz game, I would probably play e4. So it's just funny how emotions can play a part, which I think is important for me to know because emotions should not play a part. We should be as objective as possible. But we're humans. Emotions are going to occur. And that's, you know, I've always been an emotional being anyway. So after takes and takes, yeah, I was fighting the queen trade here because I thought, okay, I mean, I don't want to double my pawns. That seems like a little too much. So instead, I invited this, and I just took with a rook. And, okay, I mean, I thought e4 sort of like coming maybe. His pawn's backwards. He has to deal with that. I don't think he can play here because I go knight a5 maybe. And I really thought he should go a4 because my biggest threat in the position, I think, is to play rook a3 with a rook wedge. And then I should be able to maybe attack that a2 pawn. That could be a target. So he played rook fd1, and I was really happy to see this move because I actually calculated already that there's no infiltration. There's just no infiltration at all. Rook's covering this, knight's covering this, and if he wants to go rook to d7, I could play rook e7. So that's fine as well. After takes, is there knight takes c5? Okay, so I'm kind of wondering about that. But if I go rook a3, I'm actually attacking c3, so I think that's why I play this too. Yeah, so like he didn't play this move, but if he had, I was planning this. And I thought, okay, I'm at least okay here. And let's see what the engine says. Yeah, it's equal. Okay, cool. That's what I thought. Okay, so somehow I managed to survive the opening, even though I was relying on my own weird plans that didn't make sense. But my opponent misplayed it too. So it just goes to show you, like, 1900s are not grandmasters. They often don't play the positions correctly. Because sometimes when I play a 1900, I'm like, oh no, they're gonna know the best plans, and because they're so strong. No, they're not. They're not strong at all. They're really not. Okay, so any rook a3, rook c1. Yeah, and like, what is this move? I can't believe he played this. That is just a terrible move. That, I mean, he needs to go back to beginner class. Rooks belong in open files. You don't take your rook and put it behind a pawn. Especially if he's intending this, I would simply take here. So that doesn't work. I have no clue what that move is. I hope he's not watching this video because I just berated him. Okay, anyway, sorry if you are. I mean, just kidding. That move's good. Okay, so f6. I'm just being solid here. And plus it creates a square for my king to start his journey to the center. Knight to d2, and yeah, I played b5. I want to keep the knight out of c4. And now he started bringing his king up. Okay, rook d6. Now, I'm not sure about rook d6. Yeah, I'm not sure about rook d6. So rook d6 allows knight to e4. And I had calculated this continuation here, here, here. And I was like, haha. But I kind of forgot that the knight's like protecting that, and queen e2 is going to kick my rook out. So unfortunately, I just like miscalculated. Lucky for me, it's just I just lose like a couple tempos, but still not a good idea. So I had to I just had to retreat all the way back. And look, I improved white's position for him. So what I really should have done, I think, is just play f5 here. Just stop this idea. You know, there's nothing wrong with this move. He cannot win these or anything. So this would have been the right way to play, I think. And if he wants to go knight b1, like, okay, fine. You know, like, I'll either go rook e6, rook a6, or rook a8. And keep fighting from there. The knight on b1 should be some sort of compensation. But instead, I played this way. And I allowed this move. And I had to retreat. And he comes into c5, but I calculated this also. And I actually thought b6 is really good here. Like, for example, if he wants to go knight e6, attacking my rook, maybe just rook c8. How is that knight escaping? Please tell me, because I don't know. I'm just going to go like this. You know? So my opponent actually saw that, but that means b6 is a good move. Yeah, and I think if he goes here, I was even considering playing rook d to a8 here. See that it's the top engine move. Because now I'm actually threatening to take. When they take, I would take... Wait, that doesn't work. Never mind. Oh, but it ties his rook down. Let me put it that way. And this knight has nowhere. It's totally like boxed in. So that move's just silly. And then I would... One thing I like about this is just puts maximum pressure here. Oh, I remember what I was thinking. I was thinking if he goes here, I take. Yeah, that makes way more sense, right? Yeah. Rook a8 attacks the pawn. If he protects it, then we win the game. So he would just lose the pawn. So I did see stuff like that. So, okay. And you know what? I think I'm going to split this video into 2 parts because there's an endgame coming up. So I'll at least get to it. But I think it should be a separate video because it's too important for me and for you guys to look at endgames that I don't want to fly through it just to make the video somewhat digestible. So I just went king f7 here. He played rook c2. I went king e6. Again, I think f5 was possible. Yeah, and then rook to d1. Now, I think I kind of have to trade because if I try this, I would lose the game. That's a fork. So I have to trade, but I was not unhappy about this trade at all because it relegated his king back to the back rank. So he kind of leveled down his king. Now I'm ready to level up my king. So I'm not sure because c4 check is maybe a thing. Okay, but I played f5. King d5. Now my coach yelled at me for king d5 too. Yelled at me. He doesn't really yell at me. He just said, oh, I don't think king d5 is good. Like c4 looks interesting. And I think he is right. Because we were looking at some lines here where he could possibly play this c4 check move. And like if I take, for example, maybe he could take with a knight. That attacks the rook and it attacks the pawn. We could check. That's possible, but he could go king e2. And then... Okay, then what? I guess we have knight takes b4. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Because then there's knight takes b6 check. I can't go over there because the rook's protecting. I'm scared of a3 in this position. I guess I have to go king e6. Wow. That's what the engine gives. Oh, wait a minute. That's king e4, which loses to rook c4 check. Yeah, that's not too good, right? Like, even if I go rook d4, I think they could just play f3. Yeah, they could definitely play f3. And then if I go here, I mean, I feel like I'm almost getting checkmated or something. Right? Like, this is very close to checkmate. If this move, I have to go king g5. But the engine just likes taking the knight here. Oh. Yeah. Okay. That's enough for me. Yeah, that's pretty complicated. So I shouldn't play king d5 unless I kind of know what's happening after c4 check. And I did not know. I calculated something that was not like that at all. So instead I just went rook a7 here. Okay, I see the engine likes it. Knight b3. I did not understand this move at all. It doesn't seem right to me. The knight can't go anywhere. So I don't know what that move is. So I just went e4. Ooh, okay, and I'll stop the video because pretty soon I was in time pressure here. I was under 3 minutes, but I had 7 moves until move 40. And then, you know, if I could just survive until move 40, then I would get 30 more minutes on my clock. So I played here. He checked. I went here. I'm just protecting everything. King b2. Okay, and I decided a trade would be good for me. So I did this. Walked my king up. g5. Let's go. Advance your majority in the endgame. g3. And on move 40, I played knight to e5, which I was actually very scared was a blunder after I saw this move, knight to d4, which actually forks my 2 pawns. And I hate to do this to you guys, but since it was move 40, I think it's a great time to leave you on a cliffhanger. And I'm just going to say I'll be back with the end of this game, which has a couple really good moments in it. So I hope that you'll join me for that. This is Stacia, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.